Thank you very much. Minister, First Five, a whole-of-government strategy for babies, young children and their families, commits to increasing investment in early learning and childcare up to £1 billion by 2028. Can you provide an update on the expert group established to develop a new funding model for ELC and SAC? Thank you, Minister.
Thanks very much, Deputy. So the expert group was established in September 2019 to develop a new funding model for early learning and care and school-aged childcare. The group was tasked with examining the current model of funding and considering how additional resourcing could best be structured to achieve a high-quality, affordable, accessible and sustainable sector. The expert group was independently chaired and comprised of national and international experts across multiple fields. It met 21 times. The expert group has now completed its work, and its report, Partnership for the Public Good, was published on the 7th of December last year. And following good government consideration and acceptance of its 25 recommendations, and work has now commenced on the implementation of those recommendations, I was very happy to have the opportunity to meet the chair of the expert group in advance of the estimates process to allow the emerging recommendations of the group to inform the package of measures announced in Budget 2022. And we've spoken about those already in the Chamber today, in particular a new core funding stream for services to support improved quality, affordability and sustainability, and also to support the drawing up of that employment regulation order, so important to get better pay for staff. And that's being introduced, and it'll be worth €69 million this year, €207 million in a full year. And participation in core funding will require services not to increase the fees charged to parents from their September 21 rates. Budget 22 also announced an extension in the age of children who are eligible for the universal NCS subsidy, and a removal of how wraparound hours for NCS subsidies are determined. These measures were also recommended by the expert group. So Budget 2022 began the implementation of the expert group's recommendations, and full implementation of all its recommendations will be progressed in the coming years as additional funding is secured through the annual estimates process. But again, just to emphasise, there is strong agreement across all three government parties about the importance in next year's budget of affordability and significant investment in the NCS to save parents money.
Thank you, Minister. The reports released back in early December by expert groups on funding and the Department's report, Nurturing Skills, were both welcome and very timely. Access to affordable early learning and childcare supports a fair society, sustainable communities and a thriving economy. I know you are acutely aware of the challenges facing parents, childcare professionals, the childcare providers, and are working to address them. I hear regularly from constituents who raise issues around affordability and availability of childcare. Certainly, one issue that comes up is those who pay privately pay extraordinary fees. Those who can be subsidised struggle to find a service. Many service providers tell me issues surrounding building costs, insurance costs, fire safety requirements, and staffing is a huge issue. Many more childcare workers tell me about how they want to have an opportunity to stay working and to progress within a sector as valued employees. I am aware that Budget 2022 saw funding to begin the implementation of these recommendations, including €69 million for the new core funding stream from September 2022, equivalent to €207 million in a full year. What is the status of the other recommendations of this report? Will the expert group continue to play an oversight or an adversary role? Thank you. Minister.
Thanks very much, Deputy. Well, you've very quickly summarised the huge range of complexities in this sector, but there are complexities that we're looking to address, and we're taking them in a step-by-step approach. But again, on the issue of affordability, in this year's budget, we have been able to take a significant step in terms of the extension of the NCS, so that the National Childcare Scheme, that subvention, that 50 cents per hour subvention that every parent got for a child between 0 and 3 attending childcare, that has been extended, and in September of this year, that will go up from 0 to 15. So any child between 0 and 15 attending childcare will get a 50-cent subvention per hour. And that's as a first step, but I think it is an important first step that all children will be getting a basic level of subvention from the state in terms of the childcare that they're receiving. But in terms of the wider recommendations of the expert group, one I'm particularly passionate about pursuing is this DESH-type model and approach to dealing with disadvantage within early years sectors. There's a range of recommendations there, and I would hope in Budget 23 to start to implement some of those measures.
Minister. Yeah, look, thank you, Minister. Look, we would have seen that childcare professionals have demonstrated incredible resilience throughout the pandemic, supporting children and keeping the services open, and we have to compliment them on that. They have played a huge role during this pandemic, and a new funding model will be a key vehicle to ensuring that such significant additional investments deliver for children, families and the state. I know we all share the aims of achieving quality for children, affordability for parents, stability for providers and supports for employers, and to improve paying conditions for staff. But if you look at the figures, 42% of early years educators are actively looking for a job outside childcare, with 75% identifying low pay as the reason for leaving their profession. These are professionals, Minister, often only earning £12.40 an hour. I actually had one suggestion from a provider, and she said that she would love if there was some kind of individual, maybe coaching in the sector, to support providers to grow and succeed and achieve their aims as well as the aims of the government. What are the next steps for the development of a work plan for these sectors? Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy. Look, first of all, thanks for recognising the excellence that is across the early years professional sector, and that excellence is always demonstrated but was particularly apparent during the COVID pandemic. And you rightly identified that far too many early years professionals are looking to leave the sector, and that is primarily due to the issue of pay. And we've spoken on three or four questions already today on that issue of pay, and I welcome the strong focus of deputies on that issue. I'm sure the sector and childcare professionals welcome that as well, and I've been able to outline the measures, very significantly funded measures that the government are taking to start to address the issue of pay. But it does go beyond pay, and you made that idea of coaching. There has to be a sense for early years professionals, particularly starting out, that they have a career, they have a progress path, and that's what the Workforce Development Plan, which I published in December, was all about creating career structures, about putting in place support for continued professional development, coaching and the like, to make sure people can see that they have a long-term future in this sector.
Thank you, Minister. Our next question.